Hi, I'm Ceri. I'm going to do some online navigation workshops. A few people have asked me if I can do them whilst they're locked down. It's a useful tool to have, even at this time when we can't actually get out and explore uh, the moors. Um, so I'm going to start with map interpretation and taking a grid reference. Okay, so really simple. Um, but first I'm going to introduce the map. So this is a 1 to 25,000 map, 1 centimetre equaling 250 metres on the ground, as opposed to say a 1 to 50,000 map where 1 centimetre equals 500 metres on the ground. Okay, now every map comes with a code, okay, which is this code here, and you will see that all these grids here, these grid lines here, going horizontally and vertically. Now each one of these boxes is a squared kilometre, all right, a kilometre squared. Why do we need to take a grid reference? So a grid reference is useful when we get lost, and we really are badly lost or injured, for example, and need to call emergency services. Hopefully no one will. But if you do, a grid reference is useful to have, and a GPS can do the same thing, GPS device, or what three words, for example. But let's just use the basic skill, which is basically choose your location. For example, Crazy Well Pool, which is close to Burrator Reservoir. So we come along the corridor and then up the stairs. So what we're doing is going parallel to this vertical line, which is known as an easting, and then we're reading it off up here. So it's 58.2, for example. So this is a 6-figure grid reference. So the first 3 numbers will be 58.2, and then we're following the horizontal line across in parallel to the horizontal line, which is known as a northing. Okay, and that's about 75. So 58 to 75 is our grid reference. Okay, now looking at this map, if you want to interpret it, you could break it down into primary and secondary features. So primary features being natural features, so for example streams, rivers, and contours, and secondary features being, for example, roads, leats, reservoirs, sheepfolds, and maybe plantations such as this one, although these may shrink or grow depending on their productivity, so they're not completely reliable. Okay, now what's unique about Dartmoor, some of the features on Dartmoor, for example, your leats, of which there are many on Dartmoor. This is Davenport Leat. Now this is demarcated by a thin blue line, which tends to contour around the landscape, so it doesn't have too many tributaries coming off it like a stream or a river might, and it tends to come from or go to an industrial site such as a tin mine or a quarry, for example. Then you also have these, which are sort of peat gullies, and they're really useful for direction finding on Dartmoor. Okay, and you have the antiquities, for example, and standing stones, and then of course the contours. So each contour is 10 meters. Okay, so the thicker contour is an index line, so every 5 of these is worth 50 meters. Now if you imagine you're running up a hill, the contours on the map, let's say King's Tor, for example, you're running up King's Tor, the contour lines are coming towards you. If you're running downhill, they're going away from you. All right, now just some of the other features you might want to identify. I mean, this is all, you know, on the index on the map, so they tell you anyway, but here we go. You've got bridle paths, which are these sort of thicker green dotted lines, and then you've got footpaths, okay, which are sort of shorter green dotted lines, and then you've got the national trails, such as the 2 Miles Way, for example, but it's similar to this. It's got diamond formation there. Okay, now just going back to the different types of maps that you can get. So for Dartmoor, I would use a 1 to 25,000 map. Some would use a Harvey's map. Lots of orienteers and mountain marathoners, for example, would use a Harvey's map of 1 to 40,000 because as you can see, it's very well color coded, shows the change in topography really well. Here it shows the MOD land, which is demarcated here on the 1 to 25,000 map as a red and white triangles. And the northwest of Dartmoor is a big training area there for the MOD. So on the ground it would be sort of 3-foot white and red flags. Here on the Harvey's map it's demarcated like this with the little orange dots. Now I like these maps because they're very good at identifying changes in features, as I say. So for example, the peat hags, of which there are many, especially on northwest Dartmoor, you want to choose a line, you want to avoid those. Not good for running over because they can be ankle breakers, so really good for that sort of thing. Now if I was going to somewhere like Snowdonia National Park, or maybe say the Cairngorms or the Lake District, I might take with me a 1 to 50,000 map. It just covers more distance, or I might take a Harvey's map. I might not take a 1 to 25,000 map for that. But again, it comes down to personal preference. Okay, my next modules I'm going to talk about taking a bearing and estimating distance and time, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about relocating as well.